AITA for complaining about coworkers' cultural food smell in office? So I have a Korean coworker who was adopted when she was a baby by the whitest people I have ever met. I'm Hispanic and adopted also by the whitest people ever. So we, I guess, coworker bonded over it at first. She talks about her heritage though as if she was raised Korean and pretends she doesn't have white parents, which I don't understand, but to each their own. So this coworker is constantly bringing Korean food into the office that smells so intense or bad the entire office smells for the rest of the day. I have a sensitive stomach with smells and cannot handle it constantly. We also work in an extremely small office space, so this isn't space where I can ask to move desks, or I'm bothered by some faint smell in the distance. Now I wouldn't have an issue if it was once in a while, even once a week, but it's making me physically ill at my desk every day for months now. I really cannot emphasize enough that it's not the smell of intense seasonings or ingredients that is turning my stomach, but it actually smells like expired bad food. Yesterday was the worst. I couldn't take it anymore. I politely apologized and asked her if she could maybe consider eating in the break room because my stomach couldn't handle the smells. I would ask the same if our buddy Sam was bringing tuna sandwiches in. I think I said I'm so sorry 10+ times in the process of asking because I know she is sensitive about it. She got quiet and threw out her food. Again, I apologized 100 times, but now the food was in the trash can next to my desk, and it was deadly the whole day. I actually had to ask if I could go home an hour early, and she made an off remark that I didn't have to pretend to be sick. She wouldn't bring her culture to work again. I assumed things would be tense, but I woke up this morning to a bunch of posts on her social media dragging me by name as a racist. She went as far as calling me a white supremacist in one, and said that I told her she wasn't allowed to eat anything non-American in the office as it offended me. That's not what happened at all. My boss even said we have to have a meeting this afternoon regarding issues with coworkers, which this is obviously it, and now I'm terrified I'm going to be fired for being a racist. I tried to apologize to her and tell her there may have been a misunderstanding, but she cried about how insulting her cultural food was the deepest racist attack she has ever experienced, and she doesn't feel safe working with me anymore. My other coworker, previously mentioned Sam, said that my comparison to him bringing tuna wasn't the same because it has nothing to do with his heritage. He said that maybe my nausea is really some repressed racism. I don't even know how to process all this. I genuinely feel like I'm losing my mind. I didn't mean to offend anyone, let alone this badly. Relevant comments. Honestly, the way they were talking about me being racist, I was Googling if subconsciously I could get physically ill from it. Ever just meet people who make you question your sanity because of how serious and genuinely angry they are? And we don't have an actually HR department, just the manager who clearly already knows. Meeting's around 3, so we'll see how it goes. But at this point, she's so upset in arms about me being a racist, I don't know if manager would want to even deal with the backlash. As far as pretending her parents are Korean, it's not that she acts as if they are, but she talks constantly about her birth parents as if they are her parents, and talks about Korea as if she was raised there. I mean, that's all she ever talks about, really. My mom and dad were Buddhists, so I keep their stuff with me, and her desk is covered in spiritual stuff from them. But it's all stuff she bought. Her actual mom and dad, who have come to the office before, are so sweet and nice, and she acts friendly to them, but calls them by first name basis. Mind you, this is a 26-year-old who never met her birth parents, was adopted around 1 year old, and has never been back to Korea since. Basically, she talks as if her parents are Korean immigrants, and she was raised by them with their culture, while the sweet couple who raised and spoiled her, she pretends don't exist. I never said she couldn't eat it or bring it, just asked her very politely to follow the rule everyone else does. Why am I the asshole for wanting my desk space to not reek? It's a shared space by everyone, and there is a designated space for food because of this exact reason, so please God, I don't understand what I did wrong. About the smell? About the smell? Yesterday's meal looked like fettuccine alfredo made with rice noodles, but genuinely smelled like spoiled milk. I'm weirdly not bothered by fish in general by any means. I actually fish and will clean my own fish. I mentioned tuna since it was the first smelly, non-cultural related dish I could think of. Her food doesn't smell fishy by any means. It smells more like expired milk, and most are creamy dishes. So I think she's genuinely using expired ingredients? I don't know if that makes sense, but it's genuinely not like strong-smelling food, but actually bad. I would say the same to any food that smelled genuinely rotten. As I said in the main post, it's not that the smell is intense, it is actually genuinely bad, like spoiled milk. My best friends growing up were Vietnamese, and though their food smells can be intense and different, it was never like this. I don't care what culture the food is from, I have nothing against Korean food. I actually love Korean BBQ, and have a mom and pop I frequent which again smells really intense but not bad. I cannot emphasize enough that it has nothing to do with cultural food, but that however she is cooking these dishes. Did anyone else hear? What do the others think? Everyone was in the office and heard it. My 3 unmentioned coworkers who share the small space all agreed with me and thanked me end of day yesterday. But they're also terrified of my Korean coworker, as she is quick to be offended, and everyone kinda walks eggshells, so I don't know how willing they would be to stand up for me. There are security cameras, so manager could even check. But I was starting to genuinely be afraid that it was racist to ask her not to eat at her desk since the food is Korean. This isn't something I've ever dealt with before, and by all means, I really was as polite and genuine as I possibly could be with her. I never said they can't bring it at all. She's the only person who eats at her desk. I had limited text, but my other 3 coworkers who walk on eggshells around her thanked me after work. The only person who didn't agree with me also called me racist, because they are her best friend outside of work, not just at work. I genuinely have no issue with her bringing food, but when everyone else eats in the break room or out of the office, why should we all have to struggle with the smell at our desks? Moreover, it's not that her food is cultural or intense, I genuinely think she is using expired ingredients. It doesn't smell a lot, it smells bad, like spoiled and FYI. There is a sign in the break room that says to keep all meals in the kitchen update 1. So to start, she came in the morning and went straight to manager's office, told him all these racist things I said about her food and such, and was crying in hysterics, like absolute hysterics. My manager came out after, asked for the meeting, then went back over the past few hours and watched every interaction we had together over the last day and a half. We have security cameras in the office due to working with some sensitive information, what we say, and to who on the phone can legally matter a lot, so we all should know we're being watched, but maybe coworker thought that was a lie? Forgot? Who knows? Lo and behold though, I didn't say or do anything racist, and was only asking her to follow rules insanely politely. Moreover, when he watched me leave the office yesterday, he watched me say goodbye to everyone, and apparently right after I left, Sam started asking the coworker about the food, saying she told him she was making fettuccine alfredo, and that it didn't look Korean, and the idiot confirmed. Apparently, she thought I was assuming it was Korean because of how she looks, and that I was being racist. She assumed, because she looks Korean, that me asking her to eat in the break room was an insult to Korean food, and decided to just lie around that assumption. The most unhinged shit I have ever heard in my entire life. I don't know who to be more mad at. My 3 coworkers, who didn't tell me the shit was cheesy noodles, the culprit for lying this goddamn badly, or Sam for knowing and gaslighting me so badly, I thought I was going crazy. My boss, thank God, was extremely chill about it with me, and we ended up shooting the shit for a short bit about some nerd stuff, and he told me she's being put on 2-week leave while he and the owner figure out how to fire her without her trying to sue and to try and relax a bit. He also already had screenshots of her socials, and the company will be threatening legal action if she doesn't take it down. However, he did advise me, as many of you guys did, to consider a lawyer or restraining order because this entire thing is so unhinged. So basically, I'm not fucking crazy as much as I've felt like it all goddamn day. Fucking fettuccine alfredo. Relevant comments. Dude, on God it shouldn't smell like that. I fucking love fettuccine alfredo. This woman should not be allowed within a 100 feet radius of a kitchen. I don't know how you can mess up something that bad, but when I say it smelled rancid, it was bad. No, like her cooking was all that bad, no matter what she brought. One day she made chicken noodle soup, and it was so notably pungent like a wet cloth shoe that was worn all day. She even offered people to taste it, and one of our other co-workers was so desperately curious as to why it smelled like that, and risked it for the biscuit. They ended up vomiting later that day, and said it was the worst thing they ever tasted. I don't know what's wrong with her taste buds or sense of smell, but holy God, I didn't even know anyone could be so oblivious.